Welcome everybody to Cup with GUP on this beautiful August 2nd Monday edition. Looking forward to the week. A little bit of a kind of a break last week, if you want to call it that. Still covered the Olympics, full DFS and betting. Didn't really do much showdown as we had some things planned to talk about last week. Thinking that last week DraftKings wasn't going to do much, but we did go ahead and get everything covered. I'll have full recap and all that on the Smash Factor later on today. You know, August kind of gets you feeling like you're in that football mindset. You got everybody's in camp now. We're probably a week or two away from Hard Knocks airing, although it's not as much as it used to be. But this year, with it being the Cowboys, I'll obviously still watch it. I'll watch it every year just for something to watch. But um, training camp battles, injuries. I'll talk about Wentz here in a little bit. That all matters. There is a fine line for me. I'm not one of the guys that always feels like you put out content, just put out content. So I want it to be meaningful. You don't want to get too early on talking about everything, but I think this is kind of that happy medium where we can start looking at, we just put out our second version of the top 200 overall rankings broken down by position. Ryan and I work on those together. We'll keep updating them probably every week when we have training camp updates, injuries, battles, all that kind of stuff. But it feels like football season. I mean, now you're even less than that away for some of the college football. I think I think August 27th or something, there's the first college football action. Mr. Berger will have us covered there. Best in the industry as far as college football DFS, in my opinion. Printed money there last year all the way around. I finished actually. I didn't really know about the whole Roto Grinders deal, but signed up last summer for the tracking or whatever, and finished number 7 in our entire rankings in college football. A lot of that to do with Bobby's information, coupled with my own intel on certain things. But he definitely led the way on great information, and our Slack was just phenomenal, especially last year when you're trying to scramble with not as many beat reporters, sideline reporters, and all that, which is more crucial in college football as opposed to NFL because you don't get inactive. They don't have to declare who's out, who's in, and all that kind of stuff in college. So with COVID last year and there's less resources, it was a mad dash sometimes to find if someone was in or out and all that. So the Slack community there in the GC Warrior Room is amazing. Today I'm going to go through NFL power rankings. I got 3 lines that catch my eye for Week 1 NFL, real season, not preseason stuff. I don't bet on preseason, very very rarely. I don't mind the DFS aspect if you have the time to deep dive and look for the edges in it. But betting, I don't really do much of that. So I've got 3 lines Week 1 that catch my eye today. As I mentioned, our full top 200 version 2 rankings is out on the website. I'm gonna go through our top 10 wide receivers there, and then I'm gonna talk about Wentz a little bit and the Colts, and we'll get out of here. And Smash Factor will be out later out today as well. So my first initial power rankings that I do every year come out this morning. I posted them on the site. I have every team broken out there. Value, the home record, winning percentage for every team since 2014 is how far I went back. My power rankings are done on a 12-point neutral field scale. So what does that mean? Basically, the best a team could be. Neutral field is how I look at everything for the initial rankings, meaning if these teams played on a neutral field, how would they be ranked to me? 6 points is the highest I go above an average team, and then negative 6 points is the lowest I go below an average team. So in every team is somewhere between that. I do it to the half right now. I've thought about going a little more in depth, but for now I'm just doing half. So you could be 6, 5.5, 5, 4.5, stuff like that. Assigned to every team 1 through 32. Then the home field advantage comes in only when you're looking at that week's line. So, in my theory, there's some that use 7-point sliding scales. I think I've seen 8. A 12-point neutral field scales +6 to -6 in my mind, and it's what I've always used since I've been handicapping really, tells me the best team that I have rated versus the worst if I do have a true 6 to -6. So in this instance, I have Kansas City as a full 6, number 1 team in the NFL. I don't always have to have a full six, or there doesn't have to be a six or a negative six. They can be any numbers in there. There's no in my rhyme or reason of that. But I would say so on a neutral field. I'm saying Kansas City is 12 points better than Houston. Kansas City gets a 4 rating for me on home field advantage. They're one of only 2 teams that do this year. I brought back home field similar to what I did 2 years ago. Last year was obviously completely different with the fan restrictions and all that kind of stuff. But Kansas City has the second best home field record since 2014, 40 and 15, 72.7 percentage winning percentage. New England number one, but I don't have them number one in that essence. I downgrade just a little bit because a lot of that was with Brady, although I do still respect Belichick in that matter. But anyways, I digress. So that would tell me in this scenario, if Kansas City was playing Houston at home week 1, my line in that game would be Kansas City minus 16. And that's as high as I go. And in my mind, I do that in saying, so that's the worst spread I could ever produce in my mind. Although we've had spreads worse than 16, it's very rare to get an NFL game 16 points spread. So I feel like for the majority of the time, majority of the weeks, I can fit every team in that 6-point spread. Now you could argue 7, doesn't matter. You have a 14 point. It really doesn't matter. Everybody that's a handicapper or a professional or pro or any of that kind of stuff, they have their own method of madness. I've been doing it this way for 15 years now, so I kind of keep it that way. My top 10, again, you can catch all 32 in the full rankings. I put these out every Monday or Tuesday. Sometimes I wait on the Monday Night Football game. Sometimes I don't let one game affect it enough that I'll go ahead and do them Monday, depending on how the season is going and all that kind of stuff. But my top 10 right now is Kansas City number 1, Tampa Bay number 2, Green Bay number 3, Baltimore number 4, Buffalo number 5, Cleveland number 6, San Francisco number 7, the LA Rams number 8, the Dallas Cowboys number 9, and the New England Patriots number 10. Patriots are just right above Seattle. They're pretty close right there. And Tennessee would be 12. They're all value is the same. And when you look at home field, New England gets just a hair advantage on that. So those are my top 10 to kick off the season. Just like any type of handicapping, whatever, fantasy rankings, stuff like that. I change them each week with results and more data, more information on the current season. Obviously, all we have to go by right now is your preseason Vegas odds, all that kind of stuff. But more importantly, looking at historically last year what they've done, what coaching changes has there been, what significant free agency, what rookies. Try to bake all that in and come up with this initial baseline rankings, and then we adjust weekly from there. The top 3 lines that catch my eye early. Titans minus 3 is the Vegas line right now. I would have that booked at Titans minus 5. That gives me 2 points of leverage based on my line. So I kind of like that game. I'm not going to bet any quite yet. That's tough for me. You guys know I love some Kyler and Cardinals, but on the road, game 1, all factors in. I like the Titans in that matchup right now. Dallas plus 6.5. I would have that line probably Dallas 3.5, 4, plus 3.5, 4. I think Tampa Bay is a solid team. Obviously Brady and all that, but I think we're going to know a lot about Dallas early. The heat, the health, and really the defense. Can they keep them enough in games with that potent of an offense? I think people just forget how great Prescott was looking before he got hurt. And I think CD's only going to be better. Cooper's still there. Gallup is still always in play. I think you got both tight ends that can be relevant this year. And then you got, I think Zeke's going to be a top 4 or 5 running back to me by the end of the year. But I think with Pollard being enough there, it may give Zeke a little bit more break, which keeps his legs fresher throughout the year. So, I may be a little ambitious there on the Cowboys, but if that line at 6.5, I would take that right now. I think if nothing else, I think it moves closer to 7. But Dallas is a betting favorite of the public, so if you really like that, you could jump on that. But that's one I like. I got my eye on. I'll keep that updated as we go along. And then the Patriots. I think the Patriots at home to kick off the season. Belichick having all the time in the world to he already knows a lot about Miami because they're in their division. but it's a 2.5 point spread. I'd have this 4.5 ish. I got it a 2 point difference from the books, maybe even 5. I like Belichick in the spot. I like a healthy. I think Cam probably starts game one. Everybody's amped up. They got all their a lot more defensive starters back. They had a great offseason. And I just like Belichick coming off game one. I just kind of like him there. I think they get the win. And so the 3 points is enough. But now that we're getting a little bit of value, that's one of my top bets. Early looking at it. I haven't made any official bets. Obviously, those will go out to the premium members. But those are 3 that caught my eye as I've locked in the power rankings. Top 10 wide receivers for Ryan and I are aggregate. We have a tie at 1. So Devontae Adams and Hill are 1. I think we both moved Adams up slightly with Rodgers looking locked in for the season. Deservedly so. Diggs, number 3. Ridley, 4. Hopkins, 5. Metcalf, 6. Jefferson, 7. Brown, I'm sorry, did I get off? 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Jefferson, 7. A.J. Brown, 8. Allen, 9. McLaurin, 10. I like not much there that we disagreed on. I want you, if there's someone that you think we have way off or we forgot out of the top 10 that you think we left out, let me know in the comments of this video. Make sure you like and subscribe to us on YouTube and that you rate and review us on iTunes. We will be doing big giveaways as we kick off the NFL season. And at the end here, I will tell you our special discount we got going on right now, leading up till Monday Night Football of Week 1. So in the videos, I give away stuff. I'll give away some stuff Wednesday on the Movers and Shakers for PGA. So if you leave a comment on, give me either a guy you would move up that we already have, so maybe you want Jefferson as number 4 or something like that, or a guy you think we left out of the top 10 that you would put in there, and that'll get you in the drawing for some giveaway stuff later on in the week. Carson Wentz obviously announced this morning. It was kind of debated weekend whether they'd let him rest a week. I think it's what we heard first and see how it did. Then we heard potential surgery. Confirmed earlier that he's out. He is having the surgery. It says 5 to 12 weeks. So that puts best case. He comes back, I think, week 2. And worst case, I'd say week 1, week 2. Worst case, week 7, week 8. And I started diving into it. And we may be able to, I'm going to kind of wait tonight and in the morning and see where that over and under shakes out. If they drop it a lot, we may be able to get on a good number there on the Colts over. Let me tell you why. So the first 7 games, they're home against the Seahawks, home against the Rams, away against the Titans, away against the Dolphins, away against the Ravens, home against the Texans, away against the 49ers. That's not a very fun schedule. No, even if Wentz was there, we don't know how good Wentz was going to be. And I think the team is still solid. They had Rivers last year, and he was on his last year, obviously, so almost out the door. Do they bring a veteran in? Potentially. I don't know if they do that as much as try to let one of these younger guys, which would probably be Easton, to get the first crack at it. And maybe there's I don't think they bring in Foles because I think that just aggravates that whole issue with Wentz and Foles. But being that he could probably be back by week 7, let's say. Well, I had with Wentz, I think their probably best case for me was going to be 3-4, 4-3. I still think they can go 2-5, maybe squeeze out a 3-4 without him. I don't think their wins are going to come very much in that top 7 weeks. Home against Seahawks, I think that's a toss-up with Wentz, but I'd still probably have Seahawks, potentially winning that game. I think they would lose at the Rams or lose the Rams. I think they lose one of those 2 if I'm just trying to, bake in the full season deal and I'm, over-under type team total deal. I go, well, they probably lose one of those 2. I don't know which one it is. Maybe they beat the Seahawks at home and then lose to the Rams. So 1-1 with Wentz. Maybe they go 0-2 now. Away at the Titans, probably lose now. I think they could win that with Wentz. I'm not as high on the Titans as some. Away at the Dolphins, I think that's a toss-up. I think they probably still win that either way. We'll see how Tua comes along. I think they win it with Wentz. We'll see without. Those are kind of the two question mark games. Titans, Dolphins for me. I think they lose at the Ravens no matter what. I think they beat the Texans at home no matter what. And I think they lose at the 49ers no matter what. So those three games I don't really change a whole lot with Wentz. The first two games, I think they split. If they could do that, and then you get these questionable, the Titans and Dolphins on the road, because they go three on the road, you know, and then I think they beat the Texans no matter what. 3-4 without them is not out of the question. But then listen to their schedule. This is where I think the wins are baked in on the over under even before the wins information. Home against the Titans, home against the Jets, home against the Jaguars, at the Bills, probably a loss. Home Tampa Bay, probably a loss. Either way, at Texans, home against the Patriots, at the Cardinals, home against the Raiders, and at the Jags. So they get both the Jags games after Week 7. They get the Jets after Week 7. Titans at home after Week 7. At the Texans. So, I mean, a lot of win equity games there when he may be back. So I'm not at my initial reaction now for like season long best ball, that stuff. It kind of makes it almost impossible to take him. But, you know, if you're in season long and you can stash him cheap on your bench, if you guys have a deeper bench or something like that, I don't necessarily hate that because I think he has a potential great schedule week 8 and on. So I'm not as down as what I thought I would be as I diving into it. So maybe keep an eye on that over under team total. We'll rehash that maybe tomorrow. I'll go see what the number looks like. Maybe we give a play away for that on for free on tomorrow's podcast. Enjoy today. A lot going on. Like I mentioned last week, we're going to basically have some form of a podcast and probably a cup with GUP every single day, at least Monday through Friday. We got live premium shows before Lock Wednesday. We do Sunday morning for NFL. Bobby will have his college football pod returning in a few weeks. So nonstop content information on the GUP's Corner Podcast Network. The special offer that we are starting today, use the code NFL. You get 25% off any package you want to try out. I recommend the full site, get all the new tools, the lineup optimizer, we call the green machine, etc. It's a free 7-day trial. So if you don't like us in the first 7 days, cancel, you never get charged. This offer goes through September 13th, which is Monday Night Football that night. And then on Tuesday, September 14th, our prices are going up as by then we'll have all of our new NFL tools out, our stackability, all of our stacking features and everything we're introducing in the green machine. We've already done some of it. More upgrades coming to that over the next 2, 3, 4 weeks. So we'll be full-fledged going by NFL Week 1. If you're a current member and you want to upgrade, reach out to me for your special loyalty code, and you can lock in your price for life, like always, before we move prices up on September 14th. Now is the time to come upgrade and check us out. If you're a current member, go check out the tools. And if you're not joined us, now's the best time because you can do it for free. And if you stay on, you get 25% off any package you try. Anybody that signs up that's a new sub or upgrades between August 1st and September 13th, we're going to have a drawing kind of like we do for the Masters, all that kind of stuff. After that lock on September 13th, I will announce the prizes and stuff we're going to give away next week, this week, getting them all finalized and together. But if you signed up starting yesterday at technically or upgrade all the way through September 13th, you are in that drawing no matter what. So that's going to be fun stuff, some fun giveaways. We got a lot of stuff in the closet, Masters gear. May have some neat cards that have been graded and stuff that I'm going to throw in there. Stay tuned for that. You guys have a blessed week. Smash Factor out later today. I'm excited for this time of year. I'm excited for everything we got rolling out for you guys, and I'm looking forward to it. Have a blessed evening, and we'll see you tomorrow.